we don't want to negotiate with people over valuation.
Yeah.
And you could talk to any of the 9 companies that got in and ask them.
Yeah.
We didn't negotiate valuation. We just gave them what they said on the app. We never talked about it. Like it was already in the application. We're like, great. Like there was no discussion. That was the deal. It's not awesome. Because dude, I don't want to negotiate valuation with founders. That's no fun.
All right, this is Dalton plus Michael, and today we're going to get an update from Standard Capital. So you funded a bunch of companies. You know stuff now that you didn't know before.
Yeah.
Why don't we just start with remind people what the process was? Like what was the process? What was the innovation for this thing?
Yeah, I mean, look, the idea for Standard was to take what we know worked well from Y Combinator and apply it to the next round. And
Series A's.
Yeah, to Series A's. Because look, how many companies have you and I funded at YC?
Oh, a lot.
1,000 each.
Yeah.
A lot of companies.
A lot of companies.
Part of the job at YC was to help founders raise the A. And so I had a pretty good mental model of what they were experiencing. Yes. And it was funny how...
And we also raised A's ourselves. So
there was that.
Yes.
It's funny how little overlap there was on the process to get into YC with raising the next round. It was an entirely different skill. Yes. And the idea was to make it kind of the same thing.
So how many companies did y'all end up funding?
So far, we have funded 9 companies. Okay. And that is... not announced anywhere, in fact. Maybe by the time we release this video, that
nice.
Will be
breaking news.
So far, 2 have been announced and are on our website as of the moment we're recording this.
And then, biggest thing you learned, the biggest kind of headline takeaway now that you've run one cycle, either something that's been reconfirmed or something that's new that you didn't expect.
I think what really surprised PB and Brian and myself is the following. How many times have we coached founders on launching? What do we say? We say, look, founder, you're going to have to launch and launch again and launch again, and no one will have heard of your thing.
Yep.
So just keep launching, and it'll take years. And then someday maybe people will know
the name of your company.
Right? And so this was kind of like my internal thing, which is, some folks would know about what we're doing, but I didn't.
Sober expectations.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
And the good news is we were surprised that it seems like everyone heard about it. And we got way more applications than we expected. And I had to go read a lot of applications. I scheduled a small amount of time to read applications, and I needed about 3 times as long as I had scheduled.
You were fucked by applications again, Dalton.
Dude, I had to work through. You understand.
Keep on doing this to yourself.
I keep doing this to myself. I'm a habit of doing this. But again, I had a smile on my face as I ruined another family vacation. So that was great. And then we had the excitement of interviewing lots of companies, way more than we expected. So again, it kind of messed all of our schedules up in a very high quality way.
That's cool.
And what was cool is we were like, wow, these are really good companies.
Yes.
And what I learned is this had good word of mouth.
Okay.
Like founders heard about this and we're pretty excited.
It's funny because I remember hearing the story of Standard Capital and kind of equating it to all the experiences we had. And all the conversations we had with VCs who were like, no, our process is great. Founders love our process. And just being like, that's not what I'm hearing on the ground, in the trenches. And to your point about kind of the word of mouth got out there, this was just a different process, right? So give me a sense from the deadline of applying. Give me a bit of a timeline here from when I knew I was going to have a Series A. Walk me through that timeline.
Sure thing. So within, let's call it 5 days, 7 days of the application deadline, everyone that we did a first round of interviews with, we did the first round of interviews. So we're talking about about a week after the application deadline.
So you read the applications and did first interviews within a week.
Yeah, or we got the invites out by the way.
Invites. Again, with invites. Yeah. Yes.
No, but we did them all immediately.
Great.
And then the way the standard process works is there's 2 meetings. So then we had a second meeting for the folks that were most promising from the first round.
Okay.
And that was in person.
Okay.
And so we met with everyone in person.
Great.
And then we made the final decision 2 days after that.
Okay.
And so the whole shebang was 2 weeks. The total amount of time that the founders spent was the amount of time they spent on the application.
Yeah.
The first interview, which is longer than a YC interview, it's 20 minutes.
Whoa, danger. Clear my calendar.
And then a second meeting, which was in person and was 30 minutes.
Okay.
And so if you just think about how much time do the founders spend
Well, they had to spend a lot of time back channeling, right? Sure.
It was time efficient, and we got back to folks fast. And again, it's not everyone, the vast majority of people did not get a yes.
Of course.
But in terms of how much time they spent,
Yeah. What is a good application? After reading the applications, give me a sense of what you felt like a good application time-wise would have taken to write.
a couple hours. I actually asked a couple of founders.
Yeah.
There's one where it took a little bit more for her when I talked to her about it. I think she said 3. But I think similar to the YC application, it's kind of smart to fill it out and answer the questions for yourself. There's a lot of questions about how this gets really big.
Yeah.
And I think every founder should go fill out. And so it's actually a little different than a YC application in that sense, because we're asking more product market fit type questions.
Okay.
I would recommend going through the exercise.
So you're basically telling me let's call it a 4 hours of active time investment in a founder, I get a yes, no on a Series A.
Yep.
I'm just thinking about the number of times where you and I spent 4 hours talking to a founder, just our time talking with the founder. Let alone
About the Series A.
About the Series A. Not deck editing, not pitching, not back and forths. That's different.
Yeah. And again, a lot of these cases, like we did due diligence.
Yeah.
And so that meant
You
we
guys
were
like to do time.
send us a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And if you are properly run, it should not be hard to send us some stuff.
Yes.
Does that make sense? And so it was our job to like dig through it to do all the diligence. But from the founder's perspective, it was like, okay, cool. Here are the docs.
Yeah. You're going to have a new application cycle.
Yep.
What is an interesting piece of advice you would give future applicants?
We are setting this up to really reward multiple time applicants,
Okay.
where once you apply once, if you want to apply again, just use mostly the same application.
Yep.
And then just change the things that are different.
That's very YC similar.
Right. Right. And we would actually encourage folks to apply earlier, or if they're not even sure.
Sure. No penalty for that.
No penalty for it. In fact, it's good.
That was a big YC one too, right? 2 data points is so easy. Like, oh, what's changed in the last 3 months? That was just so much easier to get excited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then I think number 2, we're doing something that no one had ever done before, which is have founders name their own price and state their valuation.
Yes.
And some folks had a really easy time with that and picked really good valuations relative to their traction. Does that make sense? Like some folks that had tons of traction picked higher valuations. Some folks with less traction picked lower. And so that's good.
Yes.
And those were the people that got in.
Yeah.
There were some folks that I think did not do themselves any favors around valuation. And I don't know, maybe they didn't get advice from people or, and again, just to be super clear for the record here, we don't want to negotiate with people over valuation.
Yeah.
And you could talk to any of the 9 companies that got in and ask them.
Yeah.
We didn't negotiate valuation. We just gave them what they said on the app. We never talked about it. Like it was reading the application. We're like, great. Like there was no
That's the
discussion.
deal.
That was the deal. It's not awesome.
It's
Because
really
I don't want to negotiate valuation with founders. That's no fun. And so I do think there are some folks, maybe some feedback to have out there for folks that might want to think about that a little bit. And I tried to dig into it when I spoke with them.
Yeah.
And I think they would often admit they hadn't thought about it much and they were just kind of basing it on other rounds that they had heard about.
It's a cool and different model to kind of ask the founder to make this question versus like theoretically the market in Series A land will make this determination. On the other hand, it's kind of like refreshing to be how much money do you want to accomplish what goal you want to accomplish and how much of your company do you want to sell to do that?
Yep.
In some
Sounds
ways,
kinda good, right?
Yeah, in some ways, it's pretty straightforward. But I could see, and we love the midwit meme, right? Like I could see, well, Dalton, right? Like, okay, I haven't gone and pitched VCs yet, and I know that if I had a competitive round, that like I could raise at this crazy price, and like my competitor, this other company raised at this crazy price. So like, shouldn't I be pricing this like the valuation I would need to not consider pitching other investors? Do you have an Excel spreadsheet I can use to fill this out? Like, I could see kind of a midwit way of thinking about that. And like, hey, it's my job as CEO to get the right price for my company, right? So like, where am I overthinking this?
I think it's folks were shocked that we just reject them instead of negotiate over price.
So it's just like a misunderstanding of like,
I think they, cool. No, because again, we have so many applicants. We're going to spend our time
Yeah.
with folks where, again, some folks had higher prices, but they had crazy traction.
Yeah.
So we'd rather spend the time with the fastest growing startups that are growing, 10x year over year on the higher prices.
Yeah.
I think the missing information was like, we're not going to counter. We'll just not.
It's almost funny because from that perspective, it's kind of like read the manual. Like we were serious.
A little bit.
Like this is, we don't negotiate these deals.
Yeah. I mean, and you should think about it linearly, which is if someone was to choose a 120 post, their odds of acceptance, the bar is twice as high as 60 post.
Yeah.
It's not like equally likely to get in with the same company.
So if you're growing twice as fast, you're twice as good of a market, blah, 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 sure.
Totally. And there's 120 post companies that are great companies. We want to fund them. But man, it's got to look very exciting.
Yeah. That's tricky. It's funny because I think that I remember in YC days, some group of people, being like, oh, now that we're in, it's time for you to pitch us why we should do YC. And it was kind of like, no, like, it's completely up to you. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. And it was this, oh, this isn't like normal. Like we purposely built this to not be like normal fundraising.
Yes.
Like that was.
This is a way to opt out. This is like an opt-out move, which is you could do this or you could do that.
Yeah. It's not like a mush. It's like it's a different.
This is the different. Yeah. And those are the folks that got in. Again, like the folks that were really successful with our process.
Yeah. They wanted that.
They were like, we haven't talked to any investors. We haven't built a deck.
Yeah.
We just applied. Yeah. And if we get in, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. I did talk to a number of VCs who were like, no, but people, one, this is an important skill, pitching your company with a slide deck. And I'm like, interesting. Okay, sure. I don't know that I'd put that on the top 5 most important skills for building a great company, but fair, great, sure. Or 2, this was a really common one. It's like, we have complete knowledge of the good companies. And we are already actively scouting, communicating, and like we know everyone is good. Which I just remember that was how people felt with YC. It's like, well, obviously it's gonna be full of shit companies because we know all the good founders.
And again, think about the ramifications of that. If you actually think you know all the good companies, shut down. Like, shut down your fund, please. Because you're admitting it's a zero-sum game with no margin.
Yes.
Like, if that's your mentality, leave the industry.
Yeah.
Because it means you're so like disillusioned with the work.
Yes. You're investing commodity dollars.
You don't love the work.
Yes.
That's a sign you shouldn't do this anymore.
That's fair. So last but not least, when is the next time people can apply? And the question I always got, can I apply late?
Yep. The next deadline is going to be in early January. And so we're going to open up applications in sort of like late December. So lots of time. It'll be kind of quiet, I presume, for a lot of folks in their time of the year. So good time to work on your application there.
Yep.
And then, yes, you can totally apply late. I read all the applications that come in, definitely looking at the late ones.
Yeah.
The advantage for us of folks all applying around the deadline is we can just like crank through these things super fast and do a ton of interviews in one day. And it's super efficient.
Yeah.
And so that is the benefit. But I've been reading every application as they come in.
I always love when we got that question to YC. It's like, sure. Like, just like, like, let's not make this. The number of times we got the question, can I apply late? And I'm like, there's a thing on there. Just do it. Just do it or don't do it. Anyways, this sounds like a great update. I look forward to learning what you guys learn after cycle 2.
Sounds good. Thanks, Michael.
Cheers.